National Speech and Evaluation Contest for 2022. Here is some logistic information. Number one, except for the speaker and someone who speaks, everyone will remain on mute. You can keep your camera on in the curve contest. Abu G will spotlight the speaker. Number two, if you want to pass a comment to a contestant in the chat, you may do so during the minutes of silence between speakers, but do not send comments to everyone. To get us started, help me welcome our president, John.
Good morning, everyone. I'm looking forward to this contest today. It's been months since we've had one, so I'm really glad we got an opportunity to do this. I believe we have a guest today, Sarah. What brought you to the club today?
Oh, I'm the test speaker.
The speaker? Great. Yeah. Okay. Well, obviously this is a different meeting than we normally have since this is a contest meeting, but thank you for guest speaking for us today. Back to you, Cherry.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. First, a bit of background information for the benefit of our new members. Today's International Speech and Evaluation Contest winner will progress to represent our club at Area B3 contest, which will take place on March 11th, Friday at 6 p.m. on Zoom. If a contest winner is unable to participate in the next contest level, the highest placed available contestant will advance. The purpose of today's contest is to provide an opportunity for speakers to improve their speaking abilities and to recognize the best as encouragement to all. We are so excited. We have 3 contestants competing evaluation contest. This morning, we will listen to a test speech of 5 to 7 minutes duration. At the conclusion of the test speech, contestants will be taken to a breakout room on Zoom, where they have exactly 5 minutes to prepare their evaluation. The evaluation speech timing is 2 to 3 minutes. Contestants will be disqualified if they speak less than 1 minute 30 seconds or more than 3 minutes 30 seconds. Judges are instructed not to consider time in their ranking of the speakers. After the contestant has finished, there will be a 1 minute silence between speakers for judges to compute their scores. Our Chief Judge Abu G, would you like to talk about the ballots?
Yes. Anyone can vote except the contestants who are participating in the contest. I put in the Google form. The thing which I need is your 1, 2, 3. As soon as the contest is done, please submit your ballot. You will have 2 minutes to submit your ballots. Back to you, Jim.
Thank you so much. So I just put the agenda and the speaking order in the chat room one more time. So we are very delighted to have our test speaker today. Our test speaker for today's contest is Miss Sarah Tan with a speech entitled Singing with Strangers. Singing with Strangers, Sarah Tan. Please welcome Sarah Tan.
It's Friday night in San Diego. The bar is filled with the chatter of friends meeting over drinks. Above the chatter, I hear someone singing, slightly off tune. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way. Yes, it's the Backstreet Boys. A stranger at the bar hears me and we share a grin. We know we're in a good place. I'm about to see how music brings strangers together. It's my first time at an American-style karaoke bar. I've been to Asian-style karaoke where you rent a private room with a group of friends and you sing at the top of your lungs. Here, however, good or bad, you sing on a stage in front of strangers. I'm going to sign us up to sing, my friend Naomi says. Normally, you can pay me to get up there, but it's early in the night and people aren't paying attention to the karaoke corner. So I say, okay, pick a good one. About an hour later, though, the bar is packed and the stage is surrounded. We join the crowd at the front of the stage. A woman with a sparkly hat and cane steps up and begins singing Creep by Radiohead. This is when the party starts. It feels like everyone is singing with her. I can hear the crowd as clearly as I can hear her singing, I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. In that moment, we are united as creeps and weirdos who just don't belong. It's great. In fact, I notice we're a very diverse crowd compared to the rest of San Diego. I see a range of skin tones, body types, dress styles, and, adorning the back wall, a rainbow flag. Standing next to me is an interracial gay couple and a blonde woman with glasses whose name I learn is Jess. We bond over our delight when someone steps up to sing Toni Braxton's Unbreak My Heart. It's not the best rendition we've heard, but it doesn't matter. We can hear the song in our heads, and that's enough. We've become backup singers, reaching out to each other in dramatic despair. Unbreak my heart, say you'll love me again. We clutch our chests in heartbreak and we wipe away tears of sorrow. It doesn't matter what song is sung, as long as it has a clear emotion and energy that the crowd can follow. And it doesn't matter how well it's sung, as long as there's an effort made, we cheer and sing in support. But of course, it definitely helps to be a good singer. When an Asian guy earns an ovation for his cover of the country song, Tennessee Whiskey, I hear a lady in a plaid shirt exclaim, "This is like a concert." I totally agree. She turns to me and says, "Is he your boyfriend? He must be. You love him. He loves you." At first, I'm shocked, but then I realize that she is very drunk. Meanwhile, Jess has taken the stage with a performance of Don't Ya by Pussycat Dolls. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Jess gyrates against her gay friends, and then she gyrates against a black guy who just walked in. "Do you know her?" I ask. "No, this is my first time here." Jess is gyrating on that stage floor when a friend of my friend walks up. "What the heck is going on?" he shouts. Jess's friends shoot him a glare, and I feel embarrassed to be associated with someone who sounds so judgmental. I'm having so much fun that I almost forget that we signed up to sing. But then I see our names pop up onto screen next to the rap song, Gangsta's Paradise. Oh no. After so many brilliant performances, I feel totally unprepared. All I know is the chorus, and I don't think I can even pretend to rap. My friend Naomi gets onto stage, and I have no choice but to follow. Although he doesn't want to join, I insist that our judgmental friend come up too, because I need more company to bolster my courage. As I'm trying to persuade him, I hear the beat of the music starting. Luckily, my two new friends, Jess and the drunk lady, jump onto stage to help me out. just grabs the mic and raps. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Then she passes the mic over to me and the drunk lady to sing the chorus. Been spending most our lives living in a gangster's paradise. I see the black guy that just gyrated against waving up to us like he's our #1 fan. We continue to tag team each other, but by the end of the song, the drunk lady has run away with the mic, and I'm left just dancing and laughing next to my friends because it doesn't matter if I sing or not, the rest of the bar is singing loud enough for all of us. What could have been a terrifying onstage experience turned out to be enormously fun. As we leave, I can't stop talking about how much fun I had, and all I had to drink was water. I made a couple new friends, and with their help and the support of the crowd, I was able to sing in front of strangers, or rather, with strangers. One night at the karaoke bar is enough to convince me that with the support of friends and strangers alike, we can get on the stage of life and sing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Now, contestants have 5 minutes to complete their looks. Abuji, please escort all the contestants, Sneha, Dennis, Deccan into the breakout room. Miss Timer, please count 5 minutes. So at the same time, I will interview our test speaker, but I just noticed some of our members joined this meeting for a while. So I will put the agenda in the chat room again, also the speaking order. The speaking order. Okay. Speaking order. Okay. Yeah, I just put it in the chat room. Thank you so much. Okay, so, okay. All set? Abuji and Sarah, are you in the same room? Wow. Thank you so much, Sarah, for your comment. Because I'm so nervous, so Abuji will help me to interview you together. How long have you been in Toastmaster, Sarah?
How long have you been in Toastmasters?
Oh, I've been in Toastmasters for a little over a year now.
Come only little less than 1 year, 1 year, a little more. Wow, you are so brave, and then you come to our club to give a speech. What club do you belong to?
I belong to a club that Abhijit helped to start called Women Lead Toastmasters.
Wow, great. May I ask, what inspired you to write this speech?
Well, I had so much fun that night at the karaoke bar, and when I got back from San Diego, I had to give a speech for my club, so I just wrote about that.
Ah, awesome. So I found that you sing very comfortable. Have you ever attend any training about singing or using your vocal variety, something like that?
No, I did like the chorus or choir in elementary or middle school, but I just like to sing along with music as I'm driving. That's about it.
Ah, it's your passion, it seems like. Abhijit, do you have any question to ask Sarah?
Sarah, how long you have been working on this speech?
Well, I went to San Diego last December, so I gave the speech once, and then Abhijit, you encouraged me to give this speech again for the international competition at our club. So now I've been practicing for the last week or two.
So you are taking this speech at the area level?
Yes, yes.
And as you are going on, you have to change or update your script as you get feedback.
Yeah, a little bit. I've been getting feedback from all these evaluators at different clubs, and so some of it I've tried to incorporate.
Mm.
And Is this your first time in International Speech Contest?
Yes.
How does it feel like presenting your speech in front of so many people? Like you have done at least more than 5 times now.
Well, it's I think a little easier on Zoom because I just pretend I'm only talking to the people I can see on camera, which is usually just a handful.
And apart from speaking, you are also a yoga teacher.
Yeah, I am, and so are you.
How long you have been doing yoga?
I've been doing yoga for over 5 years now.
And what got you into teaching yoga?
I started teaching just because I took a teacher's training in yoga. I wasn't planning to teach, but afterwards I was given an opportunity. And this is before I joined Toastmasters, and I knew that I wanted to practice being in front of people because public speaking has always terrified me. So I figured it's a good way to practice is just teaching yoga to people I don't know.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for your speech. Thank you for being our test speaker. Back to you,
Thank
Chen.
you. Thank you so much, Sarah. Abuji, would you like to talk about the balance one more
Yes.
time?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
I have put in the link. Everyone who is not participating is eligible to put in there. Please open this. I have also sent out yesterday the evaluation criteria, judges evaluation criteria. So once you have your 1, 2, 3, use this Google form to submit your 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Abaji, your voice is very low. It's hard to
Yes.
hear you.
I will now change it to my headphones. Now it's back to my headphones.
Thank you.
Sure. I have put in the Google link. So use that link to submit your 1, 2, 3. Is it time, BJ, 5 minutes?
I think one more minute, but at the
Okay.
same time, Abuji, would you mind invite our first contestant back to the main room?
Yes.
Yeah, welcome back. Okay, our first contestant is Sneha Sharma. For her evaluation of our test speaker Sarah Tan's speech, please make welcome Sneha.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. Shall I start?
Yes. Ms.
Okay.
Tanner, please count the time from now. Thank you.
Sarah, I just loved listening to you. I loved your dramatic start, the way you described the setting, the scene of your story. I think this is one of the wonderful approaches to begin a story with, to describe the setting that you are in, so that you take the listener or the audience with you into the story. Another beautiful thing about your story was that you were feeling your story very strongly. I think the best way to resonate with the audience is to first feel the story yourself. Dialoguing. Dialoguing helps us to reinforce the atmosphere in our story. And what you said were not just the static bits. They were not just boring chit chat, right? The recommendations that I would make is to pay more attention on your attire, because attire is the first impression that you make on the audience. Then the vocal variety. You can work on your vocal variety by adding more emotion, space, and volume, and you get more stage preparedness. So all in all, your start was dramatic. You felt your story. You can pay more attention on your attire, vocal variety, and stage preparedness. Thank you so much. Contest chair.
Thank you so much, Sneha.
Let me interrupt 1 minute. BJ, it's green at 2 minutes. yellow at 2:30, and red at 3.
Yeah, I had to rush up actually.
Yes, actually, this is
I
yeah.
think, should we do it one more time?
Yes, we
Because
should do
it's
it one more
a
time.
technical
Yes,
problem. So
yes.
judges, please don't consider Sneha's first evaluation. Just watch it right now. And yeah, okay. Let me say the introduction again.
Actually, can I interrupt, Cherry? Is there a specific introduction method as well, I believe?
Yes. Sneha Sharma, Sneha Sharma. You repeat it twice and then Sneha starts.
Okay. Please help me welcome Sneha Sharma. Sneha Sharma.
Thank you so much. Sarah, I just loved listening to your speech and the way you grabbed the audience attention by describing the setting of the story. You took us where you were at that very moment. The second wonderful thing about your speech was that you felt your speech when you were speaking. It helps to resonate with the audience, the message that you're trying to convey. So you have to feel the message first yourself. Also, dialoguing. Dialoguing is a wonderful way to reinforce the atmosphere and advance your plot. We can do away by the boring descriptive details by cutting them out and adding more dialoguing. Your dialogues were not only musical, but they were also very interesting communication between your important characters, interesting, intriguing characters. They were not just static bits of fluff, but they were also not boring chit chat. They truly helped to advance your story. Coming to the recommendation part, I feel the attire that you are in plays a very important role because I am a little old school. I feel that first impression is the last impression. So the way, because your attire not only tells about your mood, about your confidence, it's a very important non-verbal clue. And it also shares so much about your personality. So another thing is you can add more vocal variety in your speech. And you can do that by working on your pitch, volume, adding more emotion, and working on your pace. The third thing, we need to be more stage prepared when we are delivering a speech. So I just saw that you dropped something. I think it was the microphone. So if you come a little early and join the meetings a little early and be there on stage, it gives you more headroom for being comfortable. So just to recap the points, you can work on the dramatic settings that you already did. It was wonderful. You felt the story while you were speaking. The dialogues did a wonderful job to grab audience attention. You can pay more attention on your attire next time, work on your vocal variety, and be more stage ready. Thank you so much. Back to the contest chair.
Thank you so much, Sneha. We have 1 minute silence. Miss Timer, please count 1 minute. Thank you so much. This timer, is it 1 minute? Yes? Okay. Yes, thank you so much. Our second contestant is Dennis Dawson. Dennis, are you ready?
I am ready.
Can you see the timer?
I can see the timer.
Timer, are you ready? Thank you so much. Please make welcome Dennis Dawson. Dennis Darson.
Sarah, what a wonderful metaphor for Toastmasters, singing with strangers. I can certainly relate to that. I feel like I'm doing that every week, except I'm doing it here with people who have become my close friends. But it always starts singing in front of strangers. I want to give you a couple of things that I appreciated about your speech, a couple of areas I think could be even better, and then I'm going to come back to what I liked best of all, but you have to wait until the end. First of all, I really appreciated the way you used your Zoom window in this speech. You were trying to show us that you were up on stage, that you were dancing, that you were using a mic, and you were able to convey it with subtle gestures instead of being very overt. And I liked the subtlety of the way you used the window and still were able to convey your story in a very effective way. And I like the way you told the story. You began in medias res, in the middle of things. I appreciate that rather than the very often in a ISC sort of speech, people will get up with a startling question or imagine or what have you. But no, you had us right in that bar, right with you, singing right off the bat. I liked the writing for the examples you had, talking about how people were gyrating against one another. You talked about your overly judgmental friend, how the performers continued to tag team with each other. This is a very well-crafted speech, and I appreciate the craft in the writing. This actually can work against you. I believe that this is a ISC speech, Sarah. This is something that you could take all the way to win the International Speech Contest, and it sounds like you're preparing for that. At this point, you are very well rehearsed, and I can see that your gestures are timed really effectively. The problem I'm seeing, though, is that it comes off a little bit over-rehearsed at this point. And you would think that the cure for that is to rehearse less, but actually it's to rehearse much more, so that instead of doing the right things at the right time, you easily deliver the speech as naturally as if you were just having a conversation. That actually takes more work, and I think it's going to be worth that work, because one thing that comes out very strongly is your enthusiasm for karaoke and the joy that you feel in doing it. That came through rather sincerely, even though much of the speech came off a little bit over-rehearsed for me. So again, to sum up, great use of Zoom. This is a very well-written speech. I appreciated the way you started in medias res. I could encourage you to continue to work on the speech until it comes out much more naturally. And at that point, we'll all be able to feel your enthusiasm. And I certainly am ready to sing along with you as you take home the trophy at the ISC later this year. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dennis. We will now have 1 minute silence. Thank you.
Sarah, thank you very much for coming to be our test speaker this morning.
Stop it for a little bit.
This is my fault. We have 1 minute silence. I forgot to tell you. Sorry about that. I apologize.
No problem. I was just practicing.
Thank you. Second, are you ready?
Yes, Jerry.
Thank you. Can you see the timer?
Yes.
Timer, are you ready?
Yes.
Thank you. Please make welcome Declan Shelby. Declan Shelby.
Sarah, thank you very much for coming to be our test speaker this morning. When I listened to this speech, what I really enjoyed about it was your courage and your message. And I want to talk about both of those. So here's what I liked. I loved your courage. To make a speech in itself is challenging. To sing in front of an audience is challenging. To bring both forms of communication together is really difficult and takes courage. You did that excellently this morning. I would never do that. The second thing I liked about your speech was that your singing, of course, emphasized your vocal variety, which was excellent, but it also allowed us to see your gestures and your movement. And I thought those gestures and your movement perfectly complemented your singing. It displayed your energy and it displayed your personal confidence, and that came across very well. Very well done. And lastly, I love your messages. Your messages were essentially, we can replace terror with fun, we can find new friends, we can sing in front of strangers, and with the support of friends, we can do anything. Great life message. There are a few things I think I would suggest that you might consider as improvements. First of all, and it's a little bit counterintuitive, I would like you to sing a little bit less, because I found the multiple singing patterns a little bit fragmented and it interrupted the rhythm of your speech. So perhaps sing at the beginning and sing at the end. And I think that will allow you to get to the second suggestion I have, which is to make those messages clear throughout your speech. You summarized your messages at the end, but you could talk about the replacing terror with fun, making new friends during the speech, so that when it comes to the summary and you repeat what you've told us already, it can be very impactful, Sarah. So in summary, I would say what I really enjoyed about your speech this morning was the courage you displayed by offering us two mediums of communication, speaking and singing. I loved the way you complemented your singing with gestures and movement. And I certainly loved your life messages. To improve, sing a little bit less, get the messages out early, explicitly after each section. So then when your summary comes along, we can embrace that. And I think it would be more impactful. Wonderful speech. Enjoyed it. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Declan. We will now have 1 minute silence. Okay, time's up. Thank you so much. That concludes the evaluation speech contest. And thank you so much for our test speakers, Ms. Sarah Tan.
Can we maintain silence for 2 more minutes? I need to
Okay.
receive ballots.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
2 more minutes. Thank you, Ms. Timer.
And just for clarity, this is when everybody should turn in their ballot for evaluation, correct?
Everyone needs to submit their ballots right now.
Okay.
Jerry, I will let you know when it's ready to move on to the next contest.
Okay, thank you.
Toastmaster, we are ready to move on to the next contest.
Thank you so much. So we don't have a break time. We will move to the international speech contest directly. So during the speech, contestants are required to stay in the frame. Any movement out of the frame, which includes parts of their face or upper body, will make it difficult for judges to observe them and may not work in their favor. There is no penalty for moving out of frame. Speakers may stand or sit depending on the space available to them. Props can be used to support or illustrate the speech. There will be 1 minute of silence after each contestant for the judges to make their ballots. After the final contestant, I will ask for silence until the judges and ballot counter have collected all the judges' ballots. So we have 4 contestants, and we explain the voting at the beginning of this meeting, so we don't repeat it one more time due to the time constraints. I want to highlight 2 more things. All speeches are to be substantially original. Any code material must be identified during the speech presentation. 25% or less of the speech may be non-original material. The time of the second is the time of the international speech contest is 5 to 7 minutes. Any speaker speaking less than 4:30 or more than 7:30 will be disqualified. So green background at 5 minutes, yellow background at 6 minutes, and red background at 7 minutes, same as our usual practice. Okay, so protest may only be entered by the contestant or a judge. The protest must be based on eligibility or originality and present to the either chief judge or the Toastmaster. Once the results have been announced, all decisions are final. Are there any questions? No questions?
All right, Sherry.
Yes?
Sherry. Yeah, I was given no less than 4.5 minutes and no more than 7.5 minutes. So now
Yes.
you're saying 7 minutes or 7.5?
7.5 is disqualified. More than 7:30 minutes are disqualified.
More than 7:15, you say?
30.
7.
30. 7:30. 7:30. Yes. First,
So after
Although, just for clarity, the timer just sets the time. The Cherry will disqualify or not disqualify, right? You just run the timer and show the clock, and then we worry about that after the speech. I believe is how it works. Is that correct?
let me put in the chat room to you, BJ. No problem.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, John, for clarifications. So it's time for us to begin. So our first contestant is Dennis Dawson. Please spotlight Mr. Dennis Dawson. Dennis, are you ready?
I am ready.
Can you see the timer?
I can.
Timer, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Dennis Dawson, an Amazon Word, Dennis Dawson.
A few weeks ago, after 37 years of faithful avocado green service, I decommissioned my flour and sugar canisters. The sugar container had a crack in the lid. They were stained and dirty looking. They were outdated, not very ergonomic. I found a set of canisters on Amazon.com. They're rectangular, so they make better use of space. They're clear, so I can tell at a glance when it's time to buy more stuff. Oh, Amazon, is there no problem you can't solve in one day? The new canisters are just plain better. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, it's an Amazon world. We just live in it. Still, I can't look at my old canisters without being pulled to the past. I was married on June 9th, 1984. We didn't have a registry, and as a result, we mostly got mixing bowls. Lots and lots of mixing bowls. We had to set up household, so we ended up dependent on hand-me-downs. My mother gave us her set of avocado green canisters. You see, I'm not decommissioning my ugly green canisters. I'm decommissioning my ugly green wedding canisters. Now, don't feel sorry for my mother. She had another complete matching set in orange. Now, you might be amused to see the burnt orange, brick red, deep amber, and avocado green that was so popular back then. These colors take me back to a world of Tupperware. Tupperware was a revolutionary plastic product introduced in the 1950s. It was an earth tone wonderland by the 1970s. Now, Tupperware's claim to fame was its unique burp and seal feature, right? You would press on this button in the center of the lid, forcing out the excess air before making a tight seal. Food stayed fresh for weeks when sealed in Tupperware, or so we were told. Even some of my baby brother's toys were Tupperware. There was something for every conceivable need. But what was most special about Tupperware is that you couldn't buy it in a store, and you couldn't buy it from a catalog. You could only buy it at a Tupperware party. Now, my mother would frequently host these Tupperware parties. She called everyone she knew and invited absolutely everybody. The neighborhood moms would dress nicely and gather to look at the latest offerings. They had to buy something when they came to our Tupperware party, or we wouldn't buy Tupperware when we went to their Tupperware party. Everyone would ooh and ah over the latest innovations in plastic. You would make your selections on the order form, hand over a check, and you got your Tupperware. 4 to 6 weeks later. See, Tupperware used just-in-time manufacturing, producing containers based on sales rather than stocking them in a warehouse. It was a sensible system at a time when instant gratification wasn't the norm. People expected it to take time to get stuff. We could wait. But the event wasn't just about selling the plasticware. It was recreational. It was a real party. Coffee and cake were served along with neighborly chit-chat. It was a very social activity. It wasn't just the moms either. They often brought along their teenage daughters. I was expected to entertain them. I did not object to this duty. In fact, I shared my first real grown-up kiss with Ruthie Dehart, my next-door neighbor, after a Tupperware party. We were standing under a streetlight on a warm October evening, and she leaned in. I can still smell her skinny-dipped perfume, taste the apple cider on her lips. That memory is perfectly preserved as if in Tupperware these past 50 years. Now, the Tupperware hostess was not paid in cash for hosting the event. They were given credit toward Tupperware. My mother was the queen of Tupperware. We had an enormous collection. I have several tumblers, bowls, cups, and containers still in service after decades of consistent use. They're a tenuous tether back to my family and to my youth. Amazon.com makes it easy to find the things I want. I can get them in 1 or 2 days, or even the same day if I'm willing to pay a premium. They come right to my door. In so many ways, Amazon is a much better option. Yet I can't help but reminisce about a slower time, a more social time, when we purchased our plasticware with pretty women dressed in pearls, chatting nicely over coffee and cake. The Tupperware would arrive in time. We could be patient. We've all had to make adjustments the past couple of years, learning to exist and coexist within the confines of this Zoom rectangle. We can embrace this technology or rebel against it, but technology is here to stay. In these times of social media and sensible isolation, I just think it would be nice if we could all be a little more Tupperware in an increasingly Amazon world. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dennis. We will have 1 minute of silence. Thank you, Ms. Timer. Our second contestant, Maria, are you ready? Maria, are you ready?
Hi.
Hi, yes, we can hear you good. Can you see the timer? You cannot see?
I start my speech.
Okay. Let me introduce you. Maria Zavala, you must have faith. You must have faith. Maria Zavala.
Raise your hand if you believe that your dream, whatsoever that dream is, must come true. Let's see those hands up. Yeah. Some of you might be dreaming of landing the perfect job. Others might be dreaming of meeting the love of their lives. But for me, my dream is to help doctors find a cure for a chronic disease. A chronic disease that I've been battling since the age of 6. It is a genetic disease called OPA1. This disease affects the mitochondria, the battery in every single cell of the human body. With this disease affecting my cells, it has left me legally blind and hard of hearing. But on April 16, 2020, I was invited to participate in a research program at Byers Eye and Ear Institute in Stanford. The purpose of this research is to develop a treatment for OPA1. If everything goes well, this treatment will cure not just me, but everybody with OPA1. These can be the first steps to convert OPA1 into a curable sickness. Just speaking about this gets me so excited. I just want to start dancing. Yeah! But the road to the point was not an easy one. Like I said, I've been battling OPA1 since I was 6, and it has thrown some setbacks. Setbacks, like when I was in 7th grade. I quit orchestra because I could no longer see the music notes. And I avoided being placed in special education classes by denying my disability to my teachers. After dealing with so many obstacles in my life, I was pushed to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. I had enough of this. and I was willing to do anything. I mean, anything to cure it. I tried casting healing spells on me. I ordered healing talismans from India, healing crystals from New York. I even wrote a letter to a healing lady in Los Angeles, California. I wasn't so sure what to expect from that letter. But did she write? She wrote, "You must have faith. You must have faith." At that moment, I thought, how can I do that? I'm just a girl who's legally blind and hard of hearing, who can't find purpose in life. How can I have faith? She doesn't know what she's talking about. That letter made me furious. I ripped up that letter and I threw it away. Years passed and I forgot about that letter. On 2007, I got some news that changed my life. I was pregnant of my daughter. Instead of being excited about being a mother, I felt fear. I feared that my baby might have to suffer, but I'm suffering. But what can I do? I already tried everything. But then I remembered, you must have faith. That night, I got on my knees and I began to pray. I prayed for my baby's protection from OPA1. I prayed that this curse in my family ended. I prayed that not just me, but everyone with OPA1 would be completely healed. After I finished my prayer, I noticed something changed within me. I felt lighter. I felt like I could breathe, that all my negative emotions in my subconscious mind were losing its hold. Since that day, I continued to pray and believe in my prayers. I began to declare, today is the day of my healing. Something amazing is going to happen to me today. My attitude towards myself and towards everything around me has changed for the better. I accepted myself for the way I am, and I began to help myself with reading magnifiers and hearing devices. My new view towards life has given me purpose. My purpose is to inspire others into working towards their dreams by becoming a motivational speaker. I am in Toastmasters to help me develop my public speaking and leadership skills. And I am standing in front of you to take the necessary steps towards my goal of being a motivational speaker. Now, I have a question for you, my fellow Toastmasters and fellow guests. What steps are you taking to make your dream a reality? Are you putting yourself out there to meet the love of your life? What skills are you developing to help you land the perfect job? If you have a dream, keep working on it. But most important of all, do not stop believing. Because only you, just you, can make your dreams come true. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. We have 1 minute of silence. Thank you, Miss Timer. Our first contestant, Sneha Sharma, are you ready? We cannot hear you. Sorry about that. Maybe louder.
One second.
No worries.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you see the timer?
Yes, I can. See
May you make it louder for your audio? Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. Timer, are you ready? Timer, are you ready? Yes. Okay. Sneha Sharma, the big sister. Sneha Sharma.
I was 4 and only knew something strange is happening to my mom. To make things worse, one day when I woke up at my grandma's house, I didn't find her beside me. I screamed for Mama. It was the day when my sister was born. Suddenly, everything was about the baby. Don't wake the baby. Don't tease the baby. Don't paint the baby. One day, the baby was being given a bath. I hated it when Mom got late for preparing my milk. Irritated, I went out to play with my cousins. When I returned, the anteroom was wafting with a familiar fragrance. Johnson's baby powder. My great-grandfather sat in his armchair in the anteroom, where the sunlight was shining in abundance. As I looked at him in a daze of enchantment, he smiled and gestured me to go inside and give the baby another try. I slowly walked into her room. The baby looked different that day. She seemed to be in a playful mood. Mom asked me to sit on the mat, and the baby was laid on my lap. She lay there squeaking and cooing until she finally slept. From that day on, my sister changed my world. I would go again and again to see what the baby was doing, to hold her, to rock her, until she slept like a fairy. Years passed by. It was the annual fair in school. My parents came to drop me to the campus, and along came my little sister. But I was a little upset when they were leaving. Do you want to take her with you? Mom asked me before leaving. But I dropped her from the swing last week. Hey, big sister, you deserve another try, but be a good elder sister. Don't hang around in the sun too long. Yes, I get to boss around my baby sister. Didi, I'm hungry, my sister said, tugging on my frock. Hungry? Well, yes, of course. I rushed to buy the tickets for the food booths. My best friend rushed to buy her an ice cream. But the queue was long, and my sister started to throw a tantrum. Bad idea. I think I must call Mom. Maybe we should send her back. Hey, let's take another try, my best friend said. Let's try the sweets corner. That day, my sister won a teddy from the magic show guy. And her smile won my heart. Some more years passed by. My sister shifted to America. Her days became my nights. And somewhere in our busy lives, the gap between me and my best friend for 19 years grew wide. One day she called me and said she wanted our parents to come and live with her in America because they have better facilities out there. I was devastated. I married in the same city where my parents live, so I could be with them. My children will miss their grandparents. They meet twice a month. I can't let them go away like that. Friends, have you ever felt insecure in your relationships? Well, I did for many days. One morning, I went to drop my son to school. Children were getting down from the bus. Big brothers holding the hands of younger ones. Sisters in the same ponytail, smiling. A big poster of alphabets hung at the back of the bus. Capital A, small a. Big sister, small sister. I deserve another try, I said, looking down at the ocean of innocent faces. That night, I called my sister and apologized. And I told her, you have worked hard to be where you are today. Our parents must share and enjoy your success. Dear friends, are you someone who has lost touch with an old friend? A daughter who's now grown into a beautiful woman? A brother who is now a big man? And your heart aches for doing so? Reach out, call them, and tell them you're there. Because as a loved one, you deserve another try. Contest chair.
Thank you, Shneha. Please have 1 minute of silence. BJ, may you turn the background to yellow? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Our last contestant, Declan Shelby. Declan, are you ready?
Yes.
Can you see the timer?
Yes.
Timer, are you ready?
Yes.
Thank you. Declan Shelby, the rock, Declan Shelby.
It is all my mother's fault. She must have dropped me on my head when I was a baby. This would explain so many of the issues that I've got in my life. But in retrospect, perhaps I'm an introvert. I didn't speak until I was 5 years old. Now, introverts need some quiet time during the day to recharge their batteries. They like to be alone. They like to think. They're great listeners. Extroverts, on the other hand, are gregarious people. They're so much fun to be around, and they absorb energy from those around them. Now, growing up in Ireland, I was one of 7 kids, but more than that, I was one introvert in a sea of extroverts. When we would gather around that kitchen table, my siblings would talk to each other, at each other, on top of each other. I would sit there, silent, alone with my thoughts. I had no voice at that table. Now, I came to the US 30 years ago and would regularly go back to Ireland. I would meet with my siblings and I would revert to that childhood role. They would talk eloquently and I would sit there and listen. I still had no voice. In 2015, about a year after I joined Toastmasters, our son was married in San Francisco. We went back to Ireland to celebrate the wedding. I met with my siblings, and one of my sisters asked me to talk about the wedding in San Francisco. I spoke about it for 5 to 7 minutes. But my siblings looked like they had seen a ghost. After a pause, one of my sisters said, "It speaks." Now, back in the early days of our marriage, my wife was quite the party animal. She would have a party lined up every single weekend. We would go to that party. She would go left, I would go right. And after about 15 minutes, I'd come find her and I would say, "I have talked to 3 different people and they have nothing remotely interesting to say." "But can we leave now?" I would ask. And she would say, "But we just got here." And after a number of repetitions of this behavior, she became quite frustrated with me. And one time she told me, "If somebody is standing in front of you talking to you, Declan, but you don't speak out loud in reply, that is not a real conversation." And then she said something that turned out to be quite significant to me. She said, "If I had intended to marry a rock, I might have chosen a different rock than you. I might have chosen one that has smooth edges, not the jagged edges that you display. You need to change," she said. And like any good introvert, I thought about it for about a month. And I said, "I will make the change. I will try to find my voice." And so began my journey to be a better communicator, mostly through work. But it is really difficult to experiment, to learn new skills in communication in this sometimes hostile or unforgiving environment that is the business world. During those years, I struggled to find my voice. Now, in 2014, I joined Toastmasters. I joined 3 clubs. I made 40 speeches in the first year. I entered multiple contests. Fellow Toastmasters, over the years, the biggest changes that I have made in my communication style is vocal variety and probably impromptu speaking. I now feel comfortable in any social environment. Toastmasters has also helped me transform my style in the professional world. Back then, I would rely on PowerPoint. But these days, I tell stories about the company we're forming, about the technology we have created, about the ideation behind that technology, about the partners that have helped us get where we are. Toastmasters has helped me find my voice. Now, I think and I believe that we have a basic need to relate and to communicate with other human beings. We need to tell our stories, stories about our past, our present, our future, our hopes, our dreams, our loves, our tragedies. Toastmasters gives us the skills to tell those stories with passion, with compassion, with authenticity, with sincerity, with confidence. At the most basic level, Toastmasters enables us to find our voice. I ask you, how important is that? My family gets together every Memorial Day. A couple of years ago, my wife told this story about the rock for the nth time. My adult children love stories that are at my expense. But one of my daughters, an amazing child, said to her mother, "Mom, isn't it wonderful that Dad has put in all of this effort to be a better communicator just because you asked him to?" And my wife said, "Yes, it is wonderful. And I really appreciate the effort that he has expended over the years to change the way he communicates." And then she paused and she said, "But sometimes, just sometimes, I miss their old rock." Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Declan. We have 1 minute of silence, but I want to highlight after the last minute, Ms. Timer, please leave the red background up until all ballots are received or no. And please remain silent until the judges have been collect all the ballots, and the chief judge will notice me when all ballots are collected. And then once the background of the timer turn to green, I will begin the interview process. So in summer, please have silence and complete your ballot. Thank you.
We can move on.
Okay, thank you so much. So we will move to the interview process. I will interview each contestant in speaking order. So first, Dennis Dawson. I'm so excited to interview you. I remember I first met you also in the area contest. I was a contestant. So in your profile, you wrote that you were past district governor, 2-time DTM past district champion in humorous tall tales and evaluation contests. So I would like to ask you, have you had the same goals your whole life, or do they change?
I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. So I assume that they change on a day-to-day basis.
Day-to-day basis. Thank you so much. So what is your next goal?
My next goal after I crush Declan in this contest, and this is all really I've been looking to do my entire life. I'm just assuming that I will win and crush him, and this will not come back to embarrass me in a few minutes when the results are announced. So when I have crushed Declan in this contest, I really don't have anything else to live for. I suppose I will give away all of my worldly goods and go live on a mountain someplace where I will contemplate this victory and carry it with me sustained. I will not need food. I will not need water. I will not need air. I will be supping on the sweetness of this victory until I die at the ripe old age of 108, caught in bed with the wife of a dear friend.
Thank you so much. I will ask Declan for his responses later. Okay, thank you. Our second contestant, Maria. Maria, I'm so touched by your speech, lots of tears. May I ask, who inspires you the most? Who inspires you the most?
Who inspires me the most?
Yes.
People, stories that they start with nothing and they rise to achieve great successes. I love reading stories about that. It makes me feel like it brings me hope. It makes me feel like I can do it too. Like there's this man named Nick Pichisic. He was born with an illness and he has no arms and no legs. And he overcame his disability. And today he's a motivational speaker. He's married. He has 4 kids, a pair of twins, and he's a best-selling author. That's just amazing to know that someone with no arms and legs can accomplish big things in life. And that's what inspires me the most.
Wow, thank you so much, Maria. And our third contestant, Sneha. Listening to your speech, I feel that just like watching a movie, and then I was in a movie theater, something like that. Yeah, your gesture, vocal variety, acting captivated me. Have you ever attended any acting training?
I have learned actually acting from my kids.
Oh.
They act every day.
And then you wrote that your children inspires you the most. Would you like to share more?
What inspires me the most? Yes.
Yeah.
My children, I think I wrote that. It can't be anything else because they are inspiring me to practice patience, time management, the 2 most important virtues in life. So I think they are my inspiration day in and day out.
Thank you so much. You are also my inspiration. Thank you. Thank you. And then Declan, first of all, do you have any response to Dennis?
Actually, I'm not worried about Dennis winning this competition. I'm more worried about Sneha and Maria. I know that if Dennis should perchance win, I am going to ask for a recount. He stole the win if he wins.
Okay, thank you. And you mentioned that your favorite quote is, I can resist anything except temptation. So what is your temptation?
My temptation is to try things new, Cherry, because I know that if we try to do something that we haven't done before, even though we may fail, it's a great way, it's a great path to success. So I'm always tempted to do something that I haven't done before. That's why I love the Oscar Wilde quote, I can resist anything except temptation.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. So now, let's see. Thank you so much for all of our contestants and judges, and also especially our timer, BJ. Before announcing the result, I would like to ask that any time disqualifications, all of contestants on time?
Well, you said 5 to 7 minutes, right?
Yes, more than 7:30 is disqualified.
Okay, then everybody was on time.
Perfect. So, so let me remind you that today's International Speech Contest and Evaluation Contest winners will represent our cup for Area B3 contest. Announcement of contest winner is final unless the list of winner is announced incorrectly, in which case the chief judge, ballot counters, or timer may immediately interrupt to correct the error. Winner will be announced in reverse order. So may I invite our president, John, to announce our evaluation contest winner in reverse order.
Yes, welcome again, everyone. This is a wonderful contest, so I had a great time with this. So what I have, just to make sure I'm reading this correctly, evaluation contest, second place is Dennis Dawson, and first place is Declan Chavi. Congratulations, both of you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. So now I'm so excited. It's about International Speech Contest. May I invite our VP of Education, Daniel, to announce the results? Yeah, I said it in the chat room, Daniel.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate that, Cherry, and good morning to everybody. And I would like to first announce the second place winner, which is Declan. And for our first place winner, we have Maria. Woo.
Ooh, congratulations. So Maria and Declan will represent